The night I discovered my wife was cheating is burned into me like a scar that no time can fade. I still remember the scent of another man's cologne clinging to her coat like a ghost that didn't belong. The string of late-night work meetings that never added up. The way her eyes changed when they looked at me. Like I wasn't her partner anymore, but a piece of furniture she no longer needed. Jessica, my wife of 7 years, the woman who once stood before me with trembling hands and promised forever, now carried herself like a stranger I never met. We met not long after her first marriage collapsed. She came with pieces I was willing to help her pick up, and I didn't just become her partner. I became something more. A father figure to her daughter, Kayla, who was only 12 back then. She didn't have to ask. I showed up for every scraped knee, every school recital, every broken teenage heart. I stayed up through midnight fevers, helped with school projects, drove her to practices. I built memories like a man planting seeds, thinking one day they'd grow into something that counted. But love, I learned, has a shelf life. And loyalty, apparently, is something to mock when it no longer entertains. It was a rainy Tuesday evening when I finally confronted Jessica. I had found hotel receipts tucked inside her gym bag, booked under a name I didn't recognize. When I asked, she didn't flinch. She poured herself a glass of wine with a hand too steady, eyes too cold, and said without a flicker of remorse, "So what? You don't satisfy me anymore. You haven't in a long time." I stood there numb, swallowing shards of disbelief. I told her she could have said something, let go of the house, the lifestyle. I would have respected the truth. But she laughed. "Please, if you file for divorce, I'll take everything. I've already spoken to a lawyer." That wasn't a threat. It was a warning shot from someone who'd been planning the ambush long, before I even sensed danger. And what broke me wasn't just a betrayal. It was a certainty in her voice, the way she assumed I would crawl to keep peace, that I'd roll over and play the role of the fool. I walked out that night, no destination in mind, just drove to the edge of town where the road gave way to silence and screamed into my steering wheel like the air owed me something. I wasn't a man with wealth. I worked in IT for a mid-sized company. My salary wouldn't impress anyone, but I was stable, loyal, the kind of man who remembered anniversaries and fixed broken things quietly. And in her eyes, that made me pathetic. The next day, I sat down with Kayla. She was 19, home from college for the summer. I expected shock, maybe even a shred of loyalty. Instead, she actually laughed. "Seriously?" she smirked. "You're mad about Mom leveling up? Your salary is embarrassing. I don't even know why she married you. Every birthday I planned, every emergency bill I paid, the car I helped her buy, gone, erased with that single smirk." That's when something in me snapped. I didn't scream. I didn't argue. I just stood, nodded once, and walked into the storm Jessica thought she could weather with ease. What she didn't know, what neither of them knew, was that I had already been to see a divorce attorney 2 weeks earlier. The first time my gut whispered that something was off. And my attorney wasn't just competent. He was a shark in tailored suits. The house? Bought in my name before the marriage. The cars? Leased under my company's benefits. The savings? Locked in a trust left to me by my mother, with legal protections she could never touch. Jessica hadn't contributed a single documented dime in years. She lived off my income, entitled and smug, believing she'd walk away with half. She walked away with her clothes, a few pieces of jewelry, and an apartment she couldn't afford. Kayla moved in with her biological father once the reality of financial struggle hit. As for the man Jessica threw it all away for, just a ghost passing through town. No promises, no future. When things got real, he vanished. 3 months passed. I moved into a smaller place across the city. Quieter, cleaner, mine. I started dating again, slowly, carefully. Nothing serious. Just letting myself breathe again, learning how to live for me. Then the messages started. First it was Jessica. A 2 a.m. text. "Hey, can we talk?" I ignored it. Then Kayla emailed me. No apology, no explanation. Just, "You were right. College is expensive. I could really use your help. You always said you'd support me like your own. Amazing how family comes knocking when the money dries up. 2 nights ago, Jessica showed up on my doorstep. I didn't recognize her at first. She looked weathered, older, makeup smeared as if it had been applied to fight back tears and lost the battle. "I made a mistake," she whispered. "I thought I was trading up, but I gave up the only man who ever really cared. Please, just dinner. Just talk to me." I let her talk for 5 minutes. She blamed the affair on feeling invisible, said Kayla didn't mean what she said, reached for my hand like we were still us. That's when I pulled out the folder. Photos, screenshots, the hotel receipts, her text bragging to her friend about how she'd milk me dry and be free by Christmas. Her face drained of color. I wanted to believe it was just a moment of weakness. I said quietly, "But this was a campaign, a war you thought you'd win. You laughed at the man who clothed your daughter. You spat on the man who paid for your life." She started crying. This time it looked real, but it didn't move me. "You didn't just lose a husband," I said. "You burned the bridge back to me." Then I shut the door, and I slept better. I smiled more. I met someone new. Amanda. We met at a book club of all places. A graceful, quiet woman. A social worker with tired eyes and a kind heart. She didn't care about my bank balance, my job title, or the square footage of my home. She liked that I listened. That's when Jessica got desperate. First, someone filed a vague, anonymous HR complaint about me, accusing me of misconduct. Nothing specific, just enough to raise concern. My company traced the IP address. It came from Jessica's new apartment. Then she called Amanda, told her I was a liar, that I'd abandoned my family. Amanda listened calmly, then replied, "I think you're confusing a man who walked away from abuse with one who abandons people." Jessica hung up, but the dominoes didn't stop falling. A few days later, I got a call from Derek's wife, the man Jessica had cheated with. She was trembling with fury. Turns out he wasn't just cheating on her with Jessica. He had 3 other women. One of them was pregnant. He skipped town, changed numbers, left Jessica with nothing but silence. She got evicted shortly after. Kayla dropped out of college. Her biological father refused to help. And just like that, the empire they built on arrogance and betrayal came crashing down. Then came the letter. 8 pages, handwritten. Jessica poured her soul into it, or tried to. She spoke about how lonely she was, how trapped she felt, how she blamed her betrayal on emotional starvation. "Kayla misses you," she wrote. She cries about what she said. "We were stupid. Please, even if we can't be a family again, can we just talk?" I didn't reply, but I kept the letter, not out of sentiment, but as a reminder that I could read every word of her pain and still feel nothing. But storms don't always pass quietly. 3 days ago, Kayla showed up at Amanda's workplace. No appointment, no warning. She waited in the lobby for 3 hours. When Amanda finally walked out, Kayla followed her to the car. She was soaked in rain, hoodie clinging to her skin, mascara running like ink. "I didn't mean what I said to him," she sobbed. "I was just being young and stupid. But he was my real dad, the only one who ever gave a damn. Please, just tell him that." Amanda looked at her with compassion, but not weakness. "He heard you the first time," she said. "He just finally learned to believe it." Kayla tried to hand her a letter. Amanda didn't take it. That night, I found the envelope under my windshield wiper. Inside were childhood photos. Kayla and I building a snowman. Her sleeping on my chest during a thunderstorm. A Father's Day card from when she was 14 that said, "You're my hero. Thank you for choosing to love me." No note, no explanation, just silence. I didn't cry, but I remembered every sacrifice, every moment I chose him first, every disrespect I swallowed just to keep the family together, and how they laughed the moment I stood up for myself. Last night, there was another knock. Jessica again, soaked in rain. Kayla beside her, holding a tattered photo album like it was the key to a locked door. "We have nowhere else to go," Jessica whispered. Kayla looked down, her pride shattered. "You don't owe us anything. but you were the only person who ever really showed up. I looked at them, then at the album. You're right, I said. I did show up. I gave you everything. My time, my love, my loyalty, and you both wipe your feet on it. Jessica's tears spilled. Please, I know we don't deserve forgiveness. We're not asking for that. Just a second chance as friends. I raised my hand to stop her. I'm not here to fix broken people who broke me first. Then I shut the door. For good. They didn't just lose me. They lost a man who would have carried them through fire. And I lost the people who taught me what fire feels like. But I walked out of those ashes stronger. And I'm never looking back.